Aye, this is multi-topic talk. Welcome to this new season overview. Today I cover the worst show I ever seen. Halo, the Paramount Plus TV show made in 2022. It's a terrible show. I will be honest here, and I will be covering the story, and then we will read the audience score. Now, I already did 6 video on the topic, 3 episode review, and 3 series, uh, 3 series as a whole. So the 3 video are basically everything wrong about the Halo TV show, part 1, part 2, part 3. I will leave all link of related video in the description below. Now, I won't be gentle. I am a fan of the Halo games. The Halo franchise as a whole is something I like. I plan on reading comics and novel if I can. And after seeing the Halo TV show, I was sad. I was angry. I was pissed off. Another IP was destroyed by the woke. I said it. So, I will start by the end. For some change. Yeah. We spent an entire season with trash character, including John Halo, Master Cheeks. John Halo as a character is awful. Screaming, crying all the time. And usually when that kind of character dies, I feel something. I felt nothing when John Halo died in the final episode. And this is very sad. You know why? Master Chief in the video game is very colorful. He may be stoic, but there's the man underneath the mask, the helmet. The TV show thought because the guy doesn't speak that much, he is bland, he is boring. That's a lie. Being stoic is interesting. By using body language, we can tell Master Chief feeling in the games. By the way he interact in the few punchline here and there in the games, you can tell Master Chief cares about his friend and family. He knows his past, which is not the case in the show. And he is like, we need to do dirty stuff to achieve our goal. We need to survive. We will survive. I believe in myself and my allies. This is Master Chief. Master Chief will mess up a mission to save someone. He went to hell to save Cortana in Halo 3, but in that show, he is actually really terrible as a character. I think in the show, they told Pablo Schreiber, be yourself. He doesn't feel like Master Chief the entire time. So when Master Cheeks dies in this season finale, I felt nothing. And it's wrong. It's wrong because it's my main character. And I didn't care. And to add insult to everything, Cortana took over his body. Yes, now it's Cortana Chief. Now some people will bring the silver timeline. I don't care. Your silver timeline, as you call it, is awful. It's terrible on its own. It doesn't make sense. You don't lie to Spartan. Spartan can kill you, rip you apart. bare ends. But yet, in that silver timeline, they're like, let's have secrets. Let's not tell them they were kidnapped when they were a child. UNSC is depicted as these villainous people. They are villain and they are stupid villain. They don't make sense. The writing in the show is awful. I want to throw up when I see Kwan. This is funny. We have flashbacks with a good-looking Kwan, the way she should be, but activist writer they prefer cutting hairs, making the woke haircuts because beauty is not authorized for female in current media. I said it. Look at Maki. Maki is a good looking actress in real life, but they made everything they could to cut her hair and make her something else. Now you will tell me these are just characters. Beauty doesn't matter. I agree. Beauty doesn't matter as long as your character has something to offer. Like, I don't know, interesting character traits such as strength and flaws. But apparently, these writers, they all they can do is create hollowed, empty characters. And all they can do is give you an empty story. They pretend in interviews it's about hope. I don't see any hope in this show. And what frustrates me the most is the fact that we did everything. And at the end, Cortana took over Chief body. And this is funny because now Chief feel like Master Chief. You know what they're telling us? Master Chief is better female. This is what they are telling us. Is it about equality? No, it's about erasing males. Because this is what woke culture does. Now, I haven't spoke about that aspect in my Everything Wrong About the Halo Show Part 3, but I thought about mentioning it. But after looking back at my 3-hour video, I was like, I will leave it for the overview of the show. The show is about human being trash and killing each other during a war in space against Covenant. But this is funny because many episodes, without even thinking or listing the episode, I can tell there's at least 3 to 4 episodes where we don't see any Covenant at all. In the Halo show, in the games, the Covenant are the villain. Yes, we had the Flood at some point, but the Covenant were still a huge part of the storyline with the Flood. So that Halo show, it's just some generic sci-fi that use the IP, the aesthetic. The characters within the show are cosplaying as the characters because none of them feel like the characters that I like in the games. Now it's a lot of rent because this is what the show deserves. It's a fraud. You should not watch if you haven't seen it. Now, there are some positive. I will mention some positive. The action scene. We got interesting action scene. Fight choreography is actually terrible, but the action scene elevate the episode when they are action scene. And this is sad because in this soap opera in space, there is a serious lack of action. There is 3 action pieces, human against Covenant, UNSC against Covenant, 3 action pieces within 9 episodes. And these are 10-minute segments in 50 to 1 hour, 50-minute to 1 hour episodes. Do you see what went wrong? Their focus wasn't in the action, but in that soap opera, in these boring and bland characters that don't make sense. And this is sad because you had Blueprint, you had 5 Halo games, actually 6 if we count Reach. Now, if we count Infinite, it's 7, but I think Infinite is awful. don't touch this crap. 343 just doesn't understand Halo, and they clearly don't want to make Halo games anymore. But that's Microsoft's fault. Anyway, we go too far here. This show doesn't feel like Halo. It's not Halo. They read Wikipedia pages here and there to find lore of the Halo universe, novel and games. And then they insert what they read on Wikipedia on the show. But you can tell they never played the game and they never read the full novel because they only take pieces when it suits, and sometimes they even change the pieces to make it fit in their narrative and their storyline. So in 9 episodes, there's very little to say about the story because most of the story is filler with terrible pacing. It's basically human find relic that leads to the Halo. Covenant are searching for relic because they want to wipe out humans. They hate humans, which makes sense, but then they have McKee, a blessed one among them, which makes no sense. But at the end, they are like, oh yeah, we will use her, but then we will dispose of her. Now, I'm fine with the idea. I'm fine, for real. But my main issue is she was considered blessed one. She was called the blessed one. It's dumb. It makes no sense. The key motive are stupid. Oh, human killed my boyfriend when I was a child, so I ate them. Okay, then you were raised by other villain, but hey, you want to wipe out human because of your boyfriend? Okay, whatever. This show is awful. As a side storyline, we got Kwan, an insurrectionist that hates UNSC because UNSC villains, and she wants to stand up for her people. I almost tapped out each time she was on screen. Her whole storyline is, my dad died as insurrectionist, I will live up and take his mantle as the defender of Madrigal. Whatever, I don't care about Kwan. I hope we don't see her anymore in season 2. What else? There's so much to say. I already spent like 5 hours ranting about the show, so I think I said enough. There were many breaking points within the show, and I think nothing works with the show. Now, sometimes the CG was fine. That's it. There's nothing to find good within this show. Most characters are trash. Let's go read on Rotten Tomato the audience score. 70% with the critics and 52% with the audience. I am surprised it's not lower for the audience. Critics, I don't really care. And I will say this. Either people liked it because this is the IP and they can't be critical on what they see. They see Master Cheeks. They're like, oh, it's Master Cheeks. I like Master Cheeks. I like the show. Yeah, some people are like that. The same goes for a lot of Marvel movies and shows. And then there's people like me that see through this crap and realize how bad the show is. So now let's read some comments. It won't be any echo chamber. We will read the first page. And if it's only positive, I will look stupid. But if it's a mixed bag, I will be happy to read both sides of the coin. So here we are. We will read my comment and then we will read other people's comment. As a teenager, I was a huge fan of the Halo games. I played many times Halo 1, 2, 3 Reach, played Halo 4 on release, gave a chance on Halo 5. So coming to the show, I was open minded. I wanted to love the show. This is probably the worst show I've ever seen. The writing and the script are both awful. The writers of the show wanted to destroy the lore of Halo by creating their own silver timeline. The show was a sci fi all about feeling in space. Crazy plot armor protect the cast. Most of the characters don't die even if they should. The show doesn't feel like Halo. The characters aren't Halo characters. They are only actors cosplaying as. The pacing of the show is terrible. Many episodes are filler, and filler episodes are filled of filler scene. The show wants to be every sci-fi show in one. It doesn't have its own identity, and it's not my Halo. I don't think I will ever go back and watch that train wreck. The villains are weak. Most of the characters are unlikable. The show is woke, and the show is trying to deliver weird message. UNSC and most humans are also depicted as villains. The lack of action truly hurt the show. The political aspect of the show is so really bad and boring. The two main characters are terrible, Master Chief and Quan. Fight choreography was bad. A lot of jokes don't land. The few small scenes of action are worth watching despite bad fight choreography. The aesthetic take pieces of the Halo lore. The cosplayer have good costume. The music was good, even if some scenes don't have music that fits. The actors are doing great despite trash material. Despite not having the best CGI, sometimes the effects are well done. Some of the plot twists are fine, others are awful. I don't recommend anybody watching this crap. 2 out of 10 is well deserved. Not excited for the awful second season that will force down our throats. Cancel this show already. 4 stars. Oh my. I grew up with Halo, but I never was an Ultimate fan. After watching the series, I really want to play the game again, and the ones I didn't. I stopped after Halo 3, and needless to say, I'm continuing the story on my off time while and wait for the next season. I don't understand how you can like the games and this shit show. I just don't. But hey, that's your take. An abomination, a parody of the game. I agree. I fully agree. There's no better word to depict what is going on with this hot garbage trash we got. So, I think I like this one. This are to watch as a 15 years long Halo fan. I'm with you, man. I will say me, it's not 15, it's 13-ish, 12. Now, when I was really young, I played the game, but I haven't finished the game. First Halo game I finished was Halo 3 and then Reach, and I was 14, 13, 13 or 14. But when I was 8 years old, I played Halo 2, and I never finished it because that was a game that belonged to my friend, so I gave back the game, and it was a bit too hard for me. So I cannot say I'm like a 20 years old fan of the game, but I played since long time, and I can tell I'm a fan of the series for probably now 13 years, 12 years. So let's read the next one. They just took how Halo looked like and create a thing worse than fanfic because at least a lot of fanfiction understand the characters. Thank you. And I will also say this: a fan fiction doesn't go out of their way to tear apart something. They are fans. And people making this show, they are not fans. They don't care. They don't like the IP. They just seen the IP and they were like, let's hijack another IP to tear it apart. Because this is how woke people do their work. They see the IP and they're like, ha ha ha, it will be mine. I will tear it apart. Oh my, these people. I hate so much these people sometimes. Why? I'm asking for real. Why? So next one. So this one is 2.5 stars. I don't think it's as bad as some people think. There are many things wrong with the Quan Soren story is worthless. Changing Cortana to a control program and bit pervy is wrong. I hated this version of Halsey, and her assistant didn't like Miranda not being a ship captain. I didn't care that John removed his helmet. He did in games also would have been better. 2 or 3 episodes in the connection between John and Maki was okay. I wanted a redemption story for her. Kai it was a good character. I don't know. Maybe that person likes shipping and stuff like that. I know I don't. Maki and John felt rushed. They meet on the Halo, then they speak, and then they meet in person, and they do what adults do when they are in love or when they just want to release some stress to not get demonetized if this video ever gets some money at one point in my life. You know what I'm going with this, right? Mikey and John aren't natural. It's not because they are two blessed one that they should be together. No, it's not how this works. But that's my take. While it does stray from the game, it's still a military sci-fi, and I've enjoyed it. Oh, I said I was in a echo chamber. I try my best, but when I read that kind of comment, I'm like, how is it a military sci-fi? We have 3 military scenes. There are a few action scenes here and there with the Quan Bulls BS, but that wasn't military at all. Anyway, next comment. This show is pure shit. Quan is the Jar Jar of 22. Yeah, I agree. That show is. Wait, that person there to say great fan service in the action scene? Are you kidding me? That person must be joking. I don't believe what I read. Do not watch under any circumstance. If you enjoy the game, this ain't Halo. I agree with you. Oh, that one is a long one to finish this video. I like it. So this one, I like it a lot. So you see, let's start this off. The show is full of little plot holes. The UNSC is not a multi-planet inner-world military organization losing a genocidal war against the alien covenant right after a nuclear war with the other colonies. Instead, the UNSC is a joke that does let any Bulgar live at their base and even give them luxury suits with full-blown entertainment system. They call that prison. Oh yeah, they also don't filter their cell. You can flush down anything, smuggle anything. Okay, I laughing my butt here. I like this person. You can flush down anything, smuggle anything, leave whenever you please. They can't even detain someone or revoke access to their system. They just send detained people into hotel. Law. Am I not kidding you? This is the show in a nutshell, guys. The UNSC chief, everyone makes decision based on what you, the viewer, know, but now what the actual character can possibly know. The show plants suggestion in your head, and all of the sudden some character know it. It is constantly breaking the fourth wall. Oh, I got one example. At the end of the Quan episode, Quan was like, I can't wait to see you. And Soren is like, yeah, I don't want to see you again. I'm fine. So that was a true wall breaking moment. I think that was my favorite scene in the show, and that was a meme because they maybe acknowledge how bad Quan is. I did not even talk about how bad of an adaptation of Halo lore this is because even as a Halo lore fanatic, I give Silver Timeline a chance. I am okay with the change. I am fan of combining Keys plus Johnson into one character. Keys always lacked story as he dies in the first game basically. But why does the show have to be so bad quality on regards of conscience? Consistence, I should say. Why does a show about Master Cheeks, who never takes off helmet, start with him taking off his helmet? Why does it need to have a you know what scene, director? Why does Covenant of all faction literally juice off the Master Chief? How can human openly walk among Sanguli and openly show reclaimer power without everyone questioning this whole great journey plan? You do realize that this is what Halo was about? The prophet translate reclaimer with reclamation. And their whole great journey is the journey to reclaim the old greatness of their gods. While reclaimer means that human are forerunner, that forerunner geese, and are just reclaimers. A fact that would completely destroy the covenant religion, and a fact that the prophet do know. If a human would just magically activate Forerunner artifact in front of the elite, don't you think they would count 1 plus 1 and get that the prophet are lying? Uh, I guess the covenant are as dumb as the human in this show. Also, what is going on with this Quan stuff? No, I just pretend Quan is so don't exist and I would suggest you to skip them. This TV show is basically 3 episodes of bad writing and misunderstanding of the Halo combined with 6 episodes of Quan randomly starting to talk Chinese or taking your hat off while being on the run with wanted posters all around her. The show writer just don't like Edware, I guess. Just for an example of quality, Guan, who is shown in the first episode to regularly slip out of their base with her friend to explore, does find some very important thing, not more than 1,500 meters away from the base. She lived there her whole life. Multiple generations of families live at that base, and she never discovered this very important thing not more than 1 5 clicks away. Come on. That reflects the show. Don't watch it. And if you want more criticism and more reason to hate this show, watch Everything Wrong about the Halo TV show part 1, 2, and 3. Part 1 is about the characters, part 2 is about the story, and part 3 is about the ending, and it's also about the press around the show and the people making the show. Because the people making the show never wanted to make any Halo show. They only see Halo as this IP they can tear apart. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe for more Halo content. I do game. I play Halo. I live stream Halo, and I live stream other games over here. I review other shows and movies. I do a lot of stuff. Just subscribe, like this video, comment this video, and I wish you a great day. And I hope you will watch something else that is worth watching and not this crap.